Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We're your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing this week?
Well, Tyler, now that you mention it, I'm chilling like a villain on some cheap penicillin.
Oh, good rhyme, good rhyme. Well, I think you need some penicillin after watching what we watched this week.
Possibly.
Possibly. I mean, depends how you look at it, but
Yeah.
this week we will be talking about the first big movie of the fall season, It Chapter 2, which, if you haven't heard of it, I mean, Killer
You
Clown,
live in a
It Part 1, the It 1990s series, the book. But, yeah, Warner Brothers is back with part 2 of a two-part series. Movie is simply a continuation from the first part. It's been 27 years. Turns out they didn't do their job right. Pennywise is back, and he's back murdering people. So they gotta come back and do their goddamn job. About right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, on paper, this sounds like a great movie, but at least I didn't think it was. Mike, what'd you think about it?
Well, I think you're being a little harsh. I'm not going to say it's a fantastic movie, best thing I've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
but let's look at it for what it is. It's a horror movie sequel.
Yeah, it is.
You you see what I'm getting at here? So for a horror movie sequel, I feel like it was really good.
Because you feel a lot of horror movie sequels just terrible.
You want me to list a few, or can we just take my
Oh no,
word?
no, no. Geez, you can look at the entire Saw franchise as one example.
Nightmare on Elm Street 1, followed by Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Friday the 13th.
Well, that's debatable with
Okay.
the second one. But the more you continue, but we're getting off track here. Usually, the first horror movie, if it's really good, the sequel's going to suck. But I'm not going to say it's as good as It Part 1, because it really didn't live up to it. But for a Part 2, I feel like it was done as well as it could have been.
Okay. Now I'm basing my thoughts just watching the movie and not reading the book. So maybe part two, as adults in the book, isn't that good either. But my main issue with the movie is that you said horror movies for a lot of franchises, the sequels aren't as good. They're bad. My issue with this one is that it's not really a horror movie in that it's like a dark comedy for a lot of the scenes. It's funny, and I mean, at times there was some tension, but I was never really scared.
Yeah.
But
I feel like there were a few in here as well. Not as frightful, but there definitely were a few. I'd have to really think on it, but there was a few.
I mean, if you
But
want
I
to have a
mean,
deeper meaning behind it, it could be like, well, the first movie's through the kid's eyes, so obviously it'll be more scary. Now that they're adults and they're not that afraid of him, the overall actions aren't as scary. You could do that. Maybe that's what the director was going for. But
oh nope, I found it when Beverly went back to her childhood home.
okay, that
And
was, I would say that's creepy. I wouldn't say
I don't
scary.
know, I don't know, Tyler. When's the last time you had a really old woman running naked straight at you? That's pretty horrifying to me.
That's not scary. That's just nightmare fuel. That's just gonna give you nightmares.
Yeah, and your point is,
I don't know. Maybe because I got so used to Pennywise, the
yeah,
effects wear off.
true.
Because half the movie, I mean, Pennywise could have killed half of them. He had the opportunity. He's just fucking with them.
Yeah, pretty much. Wants their fear. That's what he wants. That they were able to beat him this time because they were less afraid of him. So you could look at it that way.
Oh, okay. Do you want to get into the ending now? To get what the issue is with the ending?
No, we'll save that for what we didn't like. Let's talk about what we liked first. Let's go positives.
Okay, all right. All right. I will name a few things I like. There was a few scenes that were creepy or filled with tension I liked. Like you said, Beverly going back to the parents' place. That was one of the better scenes in the movie because you got to see Pennywise doing his shit, but then you also got a small tease of his past
Yeah,
at the carnival, and I thought the acting overall was pretty good. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise fucking killed it.
again.
He's the dominating force in both movies. He really makes these movies unique with what he
I
does with
agree.
the character. Bill Hader as Richie was pretty good as well. But yeah, overall the acting was good. There were a couple of good scenes. It's just the tone and pacing of the movie as well is what bothered me.
Yeah, there were parts that seemed pretty slow. Like it was kind of like, all right, can we move on here maybe?
I mean, most
But
of the movie is this. Person has to go to a location to get their token for the sacrifice. They have a flashback, so you go throw back to the young kids. They remember something. They get the token. They may or may not encounter Pennywise, then they leave the area. That's
yeah,
that's straight 40, 50 minutes of the movie, one after the other. Now some are good, like Beverly's, but then Bill's with Georgie wasn't really that good, whatever.
it was
Um,
meaningful, but
Meaningful. I just felt him screaming at that kid a little too hard. Really made him came off as crazy.
oh yeah, it really messed with him though. But that also goes to show you like his psyche during that
Yeah.
whole thing.
But Mike, what
Because
else did you like about the movie?
well, there were several things that I enjoyed. Number one,
Hmm.
Stephen King's cameo.
That was a good cameo.
Number two, how Stephen King can make fun of himself throughout this entire movie,
Yes, they
and that
definitely used Bill to do that.
yeah, because Bill's character ends up, or not Bill's character, but Bill ends up becoming a writer, and he's an acclaimed novelist, but he's cursed with writing really good books, but shitty endings. Now, anyone who's ever read a Stephen King book, that's his MO right there. And then during Stephen King's cameo scene, when Bill asks, "You want me to sign this for you?" And he goes, "Nah, I like the book, but the ending sucked." So that's a straight shot to himself, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's able to take it in stride.
Um, I do want to say I enjoyed how this film was definitely darker than the first one. It definitely got more graphic and more adult themes, like the whole gay bashing scene in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I think now that they don't have the kids cast as like the main characters, they're able to do darker stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's open season.
Especially too with Bill just being forced to watch a kid being eaten, right? It's
Oh yeah,
like that wouldn't have happened in the first one.
no. There's that. What else? Bill Hader's character once again. I feel like the character of Richie's just such a good character. It's hard to mess up,
It
or they
is.
just pick some really talented actors to play him.
Yeah, I
Because
mean we already knew Bill Hader was a great actor, and he kills it in this role. But
oh yeah,
not a shot.
for being his comedic relief, yes, and also when it's time to do the serious role, he kind of nailed that.
So let's move on to what we both had an issue with, which, while on paper sounds good, the execution of it is not that great, and that's the ending, or to be more specific, how they kill Pennywise. And Mike, I have a great headline for how they kill Pennywise.
Is it bullying takes a toll on infant child?
Yes, yes, or an adult group bully a clown to death. I know that's not an Onion headline.
Yeah,
So yeah, it turns out their magic ritual doesn't work because Mike forgot to tell them that for it to work, they have to be killed.
yeah.
So logically, Pennywise turned into a giant ass spider, which was real creepy since it wasn't a spider. It was Pennywise, the torso, and then all the rest of the spider.
Kind of spider or crab legs, one of the two.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, apparently, just all they do is get over their fear of him and start insulting him. He just could not take it.
Yeah, don't know how.
Yeah,
That was the most off-putting thing about the movie, I will say.
because the insults weren't even that good. Like the first few were good, but they just kept repeating them over and over again.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you're
like
going
give
to
us
insult
the
them to death,
clown. Like, yeah, we know that he's just a clown.
like, hey guys, you do know this movie's R-rated. You can say some dirty insults, maybe. But yeah, the ending was definitely weak, and having in the middle of the movies going around, you know, repeating the same thing over and over again with each character, then to wrap it up and have this. For me, it does leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, we go back to the whole Stephen King thing.
Yeah,
He's a terrible at endings, which it is clearly shown here.
but I was just hoping for like for a movie that's almost 3 hours, that some changes wouldn't have been made to make it a better ending or show more of Pennywise's history. That's another thing I didn't like. I mean, they hint at it, like he came from outer space and all that, but not enough detail was shown.
I agree. But they already said that there's potential to do a whole nother movie about Pennywise's backstory.
I mean, they could if they want. If they get Bill Skarsgård back, I'd definitely be interested in watching it.
Yeah, but then we get into the whole slippery slope. If Bill Skarsgård comes back to do Pennywise again, is he to be trapped in that role?
I wouldn't say he's trapped in that role. I mean,
as of yet, no. If he does another movie, it's possible, because think about it. How much work do you think Chris Evans is going to be getting after he's been Captain America for all this time? People are only going to see him as Captain America. So he's going to be casted for the rest of his career.
I don't think he will be. I mean, he's already in a movie coming out at the end of the year, that murder mystery movie. And he seems to be just a straight up asshole in that movie. So he's already trying to break out of the goody two shoes superhero mold. And at least for Chris Evans anyway. He does want to do more directing anyway, so he personally wouldn't give a shit about the acting as much.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say watch out for Robert Downey Jr. because after Iron Man, he's now going to do Dr. Dolittle and then back to Sherlock Holmes. So we'll see if he can still have a great acting career.
True. Back to the task at hand. A couple things I kind of want to bring up.
Sure.
Because we didn't really get a chance to mention it. They kind of low-key told us that Bill Hader's character is gay.
Mm-hmm.
But they never confirmed it, but they kind of did. Now, I got no problem with that, but maybe make it clear for the audience, like, hey, he's gay. His friends still love him for it. Like, or not, they still love him for it. They don't care, essentially.
I mean, did they even know?
No, because that was his secret that he was trying to keep.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's the secret he has.
So wouldn't it have been a better ending if he let the secret go? Because they're still his friends. They're still going to be his friends at the end of it. I feel like it would have been a nicer send-off to all the characters.
Yeah, because...
to have some closure to it.
Because they kind of hint at it. But does Eddie even know Richie has feelings? Well, that's the thing. Eddie doesn't seem to know. He dies not knowing. So it'd be better for Richie to move on. Like you said.
Correct. But at least... Well, Eddie's dead now.
Yeah, no, Eddie's dead. But that's what I'm saying. He died not knowing Richie's true feelings.
Yeah, but we don't know if Eddie was gay or not.
That's true. We don't.
So, like, it might not have worked. But regardless of the fact, they hinted that Richie was gay, and they just kind of, like, left it there. It's like introducing a plot point and then just dropping it. Like it has no relevance to anything whatsoever. That kind of annoying.
Yo, you're right. Like, they should have expanded on it.
It's the same thing Tommy Wiseau did in The Room when he introduced the mom. Yeah, the test results just came in. I have breast cancer. And then it never pops back up again.
Wow, you just compared this movie to The Room.
Compared to one theme of it. One theme, not the same thing.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, apparently from what I heard, this was a change from the book. And if that's the case, then this is even worse. Because if you're going to make a change, it should be impactful. It should have a meaning. And besides a couple of small hints, this plot point has no meaning at all.
Well, I mean, there was the large hint in the beginning.
Okay, you talked about this earlier, but what was the big hint at the beginning?
It was when he was finding his token and he remembered the arcade and how he's playing Street Fighter or whatever with some random kid that ended up being the bully's cousin or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were bonding, they gave each other a handshake because Richie won, and then he was going to leave and he was like, hey, you want to play again? I got the next round. His cousin walked in, his cousin made fun of him, called him a faggot, and like, are you trying to like hit on my cousin or something like that? And then he ran out of the place, and then he went to the park bench and then started to cry.
See, I just took that as the cousin being an asshole.
See, I saw it much deeper than that because, like, we already know the cousin's an asshole. Like, that's nothing new. And Richie usually pushes that stuff off. Because throughout the first film, Richie didn't really let whatever the bully said really go to heart.
But he just talked shit.
This is something that kind of hit home, and he had nothing to say to it.
Okay. See, this brings up the point that the director wanting to do like a big supercut might make sense, because I forgot that small detail that Richie was one of the few that would push back against the bully. But if this is the one case where he has to run away, that would mean it's a big issue for him.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was other small hints throughout it too.
But we still end up in the same place where not much is done with it.
Correct, because that was his big secret. Like, I get it, it was introduced that he was gay, that's his big secret. That's what he didn't want people finding out, because that's what Pennywise said after the scene where he was crying.
Yeah.
Said, I know the secret.
Like, there could have been a really good scene where Pennywise just talks to them and he's like, oh, did you know this about Richie? And then, like, they have to overcome that. But, nope.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is how this film, like, go back off on how the film got darker. When Eddie got stabbed in the face, that was out of nowhere, number one.
Yeah.
Was not expecting Bowers to be in the hotel and just stab him right in the face. Like, that was a jump scare, definitely.
Yeah, no, that whole scene, they didn't shy away from it. He got stabbed in the face. They clearly showed him getting stabbed in the face. And then he walks back laughing and then stabs him in the stomach. It's like that.
Well, he never stabbed Richie in the stomach.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
No, he didn't stab Richie, but when Eddie got stabbed.
Eddie stabbed Bowers in the stomach.
Yeah, Eddie stabbed Bauer in the stomach. That's what I meant.
Yeah. And then once again, Richie comes and saves the day with the tomahawk later on.
Yeah.
And then throws up right after. How do you think I feel? I just killed the guy. We actually weren't talking to you. But that's essentially all I have on the subject.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie is a little worse than what you think about it. But, I mean, we're both in agreement in that the first part is a lot better.
Agreed.
But again, while I'm not a big fan of this movie, there are some good elements in it. And I do think if you did watch the first part, you do owe yourself to watch this and see the end of it. But if you haven't watched the first part yet, you don't need to go out and see this. It's long. You won't understand some of it. And it's not that great. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for our discussion for It Chapter 2. As usual, Mike, if anyone has any thoughts about the movie, where can they let us know about it?
Well, as always, you can send us an email at entertainmentexpansionoutlook.com. Don't want to be so professional? Come on down in the inner circle. You can find us on our Instagram page, which is properly labeled Entertainment Expansion. Or check us out on YouTube. Check out what we got there, which is obviously Entertainment Expansion. We always look forward from hearing from you, and all of the comments that are posted will be read on our next stream.
Yep, that's how we usually do it. So if you want to be your chance to be on the podcast, just leave a comment in any of those spots. But that's about it for this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.